Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. This is probably good news for players out there, but I don't know. When we have these kind of tournaments popping up in raid, it's all about who competes the most with each other, and it's only one winner. Usually we don't know the exact details, but let me show you exactly what I mean, okay? We have a new champion training tournament coming in with possible rewards, and those rewards are champions needed to eventually fuse Lady Mikage with the Halloween champion training tournament coming in. Okay, what does this mean? It means that you'll be competing with another, usually it's 100 people, maybe 200 this time around. We'll have to see, and whoever tops the champion training tournament will pick out a the top leaderboard reward, okay, for the local group. It's not a global reward, by the way. And you can see more details when we pop over to the new section, champion training tournament. Here it's what it is, okay? You can pick Delaja, Wear Green, Suncursed, or the legendary champion Tatsu, and all of those are needed for Lady Mikage. Of course, you won't be able to pick every single one of them. You'll need to finish first in the tournament group by developing your champion collection. That's champion training for all of you guys. So Delaja, if you are between levels 1 to 40, pretty solid champion for that specific faction. Delaja for the Lizardman, and then Wear Green Suncurse is the Skinwalker Void if you're 41 to 60, and if you're over 60, you'll possibly get Tatsu. That's the second Tatsu champion training tournament we had this year. Actually, Tatsu was first launched, I think, during the summer. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And again, there was a champion training tournament for her. They're just doing another one. Do you need to do it? No, not really. I'm just gonna be honest, not really. Lady Mikage is not going anywhere, guys. Lady Mikage is not going anywhere. This fusion is an absolute plus, positive. I consider this as a positive. Lady Mikage in itself, it's not that amazing. She's good, but being a mythical champion needs mythical books. Mythical books are insanely hard to get. I have one, and how many months has it been since we have the mythicals? Like 2 months. I don't see the reason to go for her and just do that extra push, spend my resources. Even though I do have some resources, I'll be spending my gems. Might need to spend, thousands to keep keep the competition with the others. And for what? To get a fourth, 1 out of 4 needed for Lady Mikage? I don't see it as much of a reason to go for it. I would love to have Tatsu anyway, because I don't have her already. I don't see it for myself as a reason to compete. And also because I don't have many champions worth leveling at this point. I've been doing champion training tournaments since forever. So that's another reason for me, guys, to not compete. I do have the resources to do it. I've been saving forever, 5 stars, okay? If you've never seen me before, I have 5 stars. There's a reason I don't feed my champions, because these are easy points when these champion training tournaments pop up. So if you got dupes, you feed them with brews, and you get quick points, okay? And I also have lots of 5 stars here. You can see them. I do these and get, a 6 star. That's an easy 300 points. And at this point, I'm 6 starring random champions left and right. I don't have like champions that are worth considering, and all of these that you see is like champions I consider I could take this to 6 star, might as well. Even rares, Centurion here, like if I have them ascended at least once, it's like an indication for myself to use them in the future. But do I really need them? No. And that's champion training when you have like a grown account such as mine, like a veteran account, because after a while you don't need all of these epics. They won't change anything to my account. Champion training is one of the most boring ways that they could do the competitions, and we all know Plarium that they have zero innovation in terms of what tournaments they've been doing for the past 5 years. So this isn't a good example of that. So champion training, should you do it? I mean, if it's an easy one, if you think that it's easy, this will probably go for at least 4 days of competition. If it's longer, it's even worse, because the competitive side of the other players in there might think, okay, I might be able to do it. It's only like 10,000 points that the person in the leader spot has, so I might go and compete. But it all depends on whether you wanna do all of this champion training to pick up one of the 4 champions needed. It's not even, Elijah is not even one of the 4. It's one of the 16 because it's one of the epics needed to fuse eventually something. It's only the werewolf and Tatsu that is actually one of the 4 needed for Lady Mikage. Because, as I said, because there's no rush to get her, this is not going anywhere. I don't see it as a big reason to spend your resources. I would say just save it up because we're gonna get news eventually about the Halloween fusion. It's closing into the end of October. Halloween is at the end of the month, so we're either gonna get news today, which I'll do a video, of course, or we're gonna get news next week, the latest. And that's when the Halloween fusion is gonna start. So with that being said, be very careful on spending your resources, especially your shards, because if the fusion is a good one and you're out of shards, usually you're out of the fusion, or you'll have to go to the shop, all right, and start spending your money, which nobody really wants to do, especially the low spenders, mid spenders, or even the free-to-play. That you don't want to be tempted as a free-to-play to spend because you're gonna miss out. Fear of missing out. Many times fusions, I see them, we might call them in the videos as content creators and say, okay, this fusion is a must-have, but after the fusion is done, the fusion just goes straight to the vault, and we say, oh, they might buff it in the future. But there's past fusions that have been introduced to the game that they were absolute average. I'll give you an example here. My boy Vergum car. There are uses. If you want to force a use out of a champion, you can force it out of Vergum car. But I mean, my boy had a buff after he was introduced to the game, and still is underwhelming comparing him to other fusions we had in the past. And the most notorious fusion when it came back 3 years ago was Rotos. When this guy was first out, his kit wasn't very easily understood. His base stats, we saw his base stats and we're like, what the hell? This guy has lower attack than usual and very low health. He's gonna get wrecked. But when he actually came into the game, we realized he doesn't necessarily need the Sifi to become the Rotos we all know. He can work on his own, but when he has the Sifi, he becomes even better because of the cleanse and all that. So many times there's fusions, we might recommend them, might not. It all depends on you guys. You have to read through the skills, maybe go to other content creators as well. Don't just go to one and consider his words as gospel, and ask your community, ask your guild, right? Guys, are you going for it? This content creator said it's a must have. Is it really? Or is it just like maybe like a clickbait? You gotta be a little bit more careful with your resources. That's kind of the end part of the video, and that's why I'm not gonna go for Tatsu unless it's like an extremely easy champion training, which usually it isn't. I might go for her, but I just hate champion training at this point. I just hate it. I have as a content creator, I have like so many chickens, which if I'm being honest, these are kind of the worst for what you get in terms of competing in these champion training tournaments. They are better than not having them, but when you are actually doing these champion training tournaments, it's all about how many of the brews you've saved up. I always try to keep above 3k on each, just in case there's a worthwhile champion training tournament coming into the game. But usually, you know, this is what will make or break the champion training tournament. It's the brews, because that's burst of points. Skill books, these actually are worth it now, because you can actually do, again, bursts of points if you are somebody who wants to consider that. And also saving up your 5 stars and your 6 stars at level 1, and then again using them as a burst of points. And these are kind of the strategies we do for champion training. And again, it's a lot of resources spent for what? It's all up to you guys. I'm just saying it. There's no rush. It's like Relic Keeper. This is not gonna go away. Until you eventually fuse it once. So if you're somebody who's fine and not having the mythical immediately to play around with, which you won't, even if you pick up Tatsu, you still need the other parts. Yeah, this is it. And I guess they'll introduce more stuff in the future, maybe more champion trainings, which are boring. And you'll be able to pick up Lady Mikage, but no rush, guys. what they've said. They've promised something by the end of the year. So I'm keeping to that promise. That promise, I think, is going to make or break the game in the sense of lots of players are going to go out the door. If it's another Sand Devil / Phantom Shogun, players are going to say, screw this, I'm going to go play something else. Might not be Watcher of Realms or Dragonair or whatever. They'll just quit. I've heard it all before. Players are dissatisfied at the moment. It's on the low. Rated's on the low at the moment. So if what they promised, you know, the end of the year content that is coming, if that's not it, I think there's going to be a big exodus, like a big exit of players just saying, ah, oh, screw this. Raid is never changing. That's going to be their quote, and they're out the door. I obviously don't want to see that because Raid has made my channel and has made this path that I've chosen to do in my life. But I would love Raid to be here for another whatever amount of time. But I won't just stay there when it's absolutely killing itself, right? So this was the video, guys. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.